This is Essex County, Massachusetts, and we're going to have video on this as well, and we're going to have more description of...
Massachusetts. There's only one more state north of Massachusetts. That's Rhode Island, isn't it?
Where's Vermont? Isn't that north of it?
Oh, well,
hey,
maybe you're right.
Hey-o.
I'm not really familiar with the East Coast.
Oh, shame on you. Okay, so we were talking last episode about Salton Sea. The rough is Salton Sea, California. Just a rough description of what took place there and what Salton Sea is about. We'll get more details on it, but somehow there was a flood near the town of Salton, I think California, and they later called it Salton Sea. For some reason, they let a bunch of water from a reservoir or something out of the area, and it all pooled in an area called Salton, California, or something like that. And they called the area the Salton Sea because it became a man-made lake. It didn't exist before. So it was a man-made lake in the desert where there never was one before. Picture that. Picture a desert. You know, Palm Springs is called Palm Springs because there's springs near water areas. But there's no big, giant, lakes that I know of. Are there in Palm Springs? But
I don't believe so.
Not in the town. I mean, there might be rivers in the mountains and stuff like that.
There's reservoirs, I'm sure.
But all of a sudden, you have this beautiful desert area, just like, because desert is a really cool area. It's warm and nice climate all year round. And
it's very hot there in the summer.
Yeah, it's very hot in the summer, but so is Palm Springs. But that's the thing. You could go there in January. So in other words, when you live in California or anywhere in the United States or anywhere in the world, during the winter months, generally where you are, it's kind of cold, maybe rainy, snowing sometimes. But people would go there.
You can escape.
You can escape. Go there in January, February, December. And it would be very warm. It would be you'd be in a summer place. Even if you live in California, you just drive 100 miles. All of a sudden, you'd be in a sunny, warm place. So they decided to. I said, "This is fantastic." Now they didn't know the future of the place. They didn't know.
Well, it's certainly a hustling, bustling resort.
They didn't know what they were in for because it was one of these man-made things, and nature, takes over, or what man tried to create turns out to have problems, like the movie. What's something where?
Well, I mean, come on.
Godzilla.
What man does ends up. There's consequences to these things, and one of them was this became a very polluted place.
Well, it was
salt.
Yeah, it became very
salt concentration just kept growing.
Yeah, no, they filled. So when the area was filled with water, it became flooded with water. So there was areas that were more recessed. That's where the water pooled up, and it created a big, vast lake that you could put boats in. You could supply with fish. You could have people fish in the area, and you could have people with houseboats or whatever, or motorboats and or just wading, swimming. You have the little beach line. And it would be fantastic, and you could build a resort community around the area, and you could have hotels.
They did build a resort community,
and absolutely, all that came to fruition, and that would attract movie stars and people with money and hotels and all that stuff, and that's what happened. But the water was too, what's the term? Saline had too much salt in it, and it poisoned the fish, and it created a lot of problems. I think also to a degree.
Yeah, it's just highly polluted.
Yeah, it's polluted now, but
and that's from farming. It's polluted with farm water. All the chemicals they use.
But so that was an area that would, if for some reason they could have controlled the salt in that, and
I think it's just basically a dead place now.
Well, no, it's not, because they are reviving certain aspects of it. That's what's interesting. We'll get to that in the next episode.